Good day, my brothers and sisters. This is Brother Menix, and I would like to greet you all in the wonderful name of our Lord Jesus Christ. My today's message is actually based on the on the title that I've actually entitled, "Do Not Compare Yourself with Others." This message is actually meant to encourage some of you who feel so much broken, who feel so much disappointed with life. Because why? Because sometimes you look at other people's situations, maybe people with a similar qualification that you have, but they are more stable or they have made it more in life than where you are. You feel so much like life has really let you down. Sometimes you look at other people in life, they look like maybe they are earning more money than what you're actually earning, and you feel so broken when you look at their situation. Sometimes you look at yourself, maybe the kind of work that you are doing now is not actually the kind of work that you went to school and you studied for, but instead you are doing the kind of work that is way lower than the position that you anticipated that you were going to be doing in life. You know, brothers and sisters, this is my message. Please do not compare yourself, because by comparing yourself, you will be discouraged. You have to understand this. One, we come from different families. Two, we fight different battles. Three, our circumstances are totally different. One, let me make you understand. Some people come from families where they are not, you know, it's like everything, starting from the time that they were born until they've grown up, everything is being given to them easy. So, you know, this person, you find that if at 17 years old, this person, if truly this person is dedicated and devoted to life, you find maybe at 17 years old, 20 years old, you find that this person is already at the university, maybe 21 years old, this person already completes even university with the first qualification. But you, on the other hand, you find that maybe you are 20 years old and you are still pursuing your grade 12. It's not because you are a failure in life. It's because families are different. You find that maybe based on your circumstances, you don't have anybody to, since you were young, you don't have so much support coming from your family. It's not because maybe your family doesn't want to support. It's maybe because your family, they are trying, but they don't just have it. They are really pushing so hard, but they don't have the means. So as at each and every stage of your life, you keep on, you know, it's like at each and every stage of your life, you have to work so hard to make it to the next stage. But someone else, it's like everything is just there. The parents have got the means. If this is needed in school, the parents pay for it. They go to this school, everything is paid easily. But for you, it's like at each and every stage, there's always an obstacle. Secondly, you have to understand that we fight different battles. You know, the kind of maybe spiritual battles, the cases that you are fighting, it's not the kind of cases that someone else is fighting. Hence, as a result, you can find that you got degrees, you are more qualified than even the person that is actually working as your boss. But then because your battles are different, it's like every time you push, there is these spiritual forces that work so hard to bring you down. So do not compare. Yes, of course, that other person with a similar qualification than yours, or with even lesser qualification than yours, if they come from a family whereby things are just happening, light just shines, there is no spiritual battles, there is no witchcraft which is fighting to bring them down, things will be easy for them. Maybe at 25 years old, you find that this person has got a house, a big car, you know, a mansion and everything. They have achieved almost everything. But you at 25 years old or even at 35 years old, you are still pushing to make it in life and nothing seems to be coming out right. We come from different families. Please, I beg you, do not compare. We fight different battles. Please do not compare. Otherwise, you will be discouraged. Thirdly, our circumstances are different. Someone else, don't expect, you who come from a country where there has been war from the time that country got independence. You have been living as a refugee since the time you were a kid. Wherever you stay, you are being declared a foreigner. Don't expect that you will have the same privilege, the same advantage like the owners of that land. The owners of that land, they will have more advantage. They will be much more step ahead of you. With your qualification, you would end up looking like you're not even educated. Why? Because unfortunately, it's the will of God. You are created from a country that faces disaster or problems from one to the other. But then these others, they come from countries whereby things are just falling into place. Don't expect things to happen in the same way. Our circumstances are not the same. You can find that someone else who comes from a certain country at 17 years old, they are already vested with certain responsibility, maybe to do certain work. You know, someone who doesn't come from that kind of a country would say, at 17 years old, he's supposed to be a child. Why does he have to be doing this? Why does he have to travel? But they do not understand that situations are different. This person comes from a family whereby everybody has to do at least something. Our circumstances are different. So do not compare. If you compare, you'll be walking in the street, your heart will break. You know, you'll be walking in the street. You will be embarrassed to even do what you're doing, because you'll be thinking, why me? Our situations are not the same. You have to understand. Do not compare. We come from different families. We fight different battles. We we have different circumstances. Someone else, like I said, someone else come from an advantaged system or nation. Look at, for example, you can be, for example, you are qualified. You have all the qualification in your bag, but just the fact that you are not a citizen of a certain country, you might not be able to get certain jobs or certain positions. But the person from that particular country with the similar qualification that you have, or maybe lower than the qualification that you have, will be maybe in a higher position. Doesn't mean they are better than you. It's because life has favored them in a certain way, but life has disadvantaged you in a certain way. But do not be discouraged. Do not compare yourself. Live your life remembering that you come from a different background, you face different challenges, and your battles are different. You find that maybe a younger person than you, they are driving a nice car, moving up and down, and then maybe you're always walking. Do not be discouraged. Your family is different. Your circumstances are different. Their circumstances are different. What could be wrong is, for example, if you had led a reckless life, drinking, partying, it doesn't mean that everybody that is a failure in life, everybody that sells in the street in life, it doesn't mean that maybe they didn't go to school, they're not educated. But somebody who hasn't understood life, when they sit in their pocket, they would say, oh, study hard. Study hard. If you don't study so hard, you'll be selling in the street. Trust me, not everybody that sells in the street is uneducated. Sometimes, for you to understand better the situation of others, you would have to be in their position. If somebody else has never been in a certain position, but they are able to sympathize and to understand better the situation of others, then trust me, that person sincerely and truly have the Spirit of God in them. You can figure, yes, you do get the person that has never seen certain challenges, but they are more sympathetic. They feel more the pain of those in those situations. And you sometimes get those who have been in those particular situations, but whom after God does the grace and they come out of it, but they are unable to sympathize with those who are undergoing the similar situations. So people are not the same. Circumstances are not the same. We don't come from the same background. Do not compare. If you compare, you will be discouraged. That just like age, we are born. You can be born. You can be born same time, but you find that life would not afford you the opportunity in the same manner. You can be twins. That's why even if you look, you can be twins, for example, but even your fingerprints are not the same. What does that mean? It means that even if you are twins, doesn't mean that you share the same destiny. You find that one twin, life treated them in a certain way. Another one, life treats them in a certain way. That's how life is. Do not compare, because if you compare, you will be discouraged. We come from different families. Our battles are different. Some come from a family where witchcraft has been fighting them since the period of their grandfathers. So witchcraft has never left that house, no matter what. So you find this particular person, they are pushing on their own. Life is difficult. They are pushing to make it in life. On top of that, there is even witchcraft from their background, which is fighting so much to make sure that they don't achieve. So do not compare. If you compare, you will be discouraged. You'll find also someone else. Someone else is an orphan, is born as an orphan. And to make the matters worse, the person is born as an orphan, is born in a country where there is no grants, where there is no, the government doesn't support people. So don't expect this person to have the same privilege You know, like a person who's born from a country which is advantaged, they've got grants, disability grants, you know, they as orphans, they're being looked after by the government. Don't expect, governments are different, nations are different. Do not compare. If you compare, you will be discouraged. We come from different families. We come from different backgrounds. We come from, sometimes we even come from different nations, different tribes. If you compare, you will be discouraged. I know sometimes it hurts. You look at your life, sometimes you see how hard you had worked in school. But you look at somebody who's supposed maybe to be lower than you, but the ones that are commanding you, they speak to you like as if you've never even been there. But sometimes you ask yourself, but God, why? Do not compare. Because if you look at them, you follow what they're saying, you would even commit suicide. Because it hurts, it does. But do not be discouraged. Because He, the Lord that created you, He never make a mistake. He created you in that particular family because He knew you have the capacity to overcome. He created you in that particular, you see, you know, I once taught someone else, right? This person was, you know, misbehaving in a certain way. The person actually is very rich. Very rich. Then this was my points, because they were behaving in a very funny way towards me. And then I said to them, let's do this. Let everything get taken away from you. Let everything get taken away from me also. Let the both of us being put, let's have all of the both of us being put in the bush to start afresh. Let's see who's going to make it this far. I'm sure you won't make it this far, but I will. So do not look down on a person just because life has favored you and it doesn't favor them. Life treats us differently. So that's why you see, I always say, even if you're walking in the street, look at yourself as you. Say, God, I know where I'm going. I know I might have faced this, but I know my God is with me. You know, yes, you might not have the best car, but the fact that God is with you. Always say, God, thank you. You might not have the best mansion maybe at the age where you are. Do not be discouraged. Someone else, they are 20 years old. They've already achieved everything. Look at the thing that has advantaged them. Look, it's not because they are better than you. It's because life has favored them in a certain way. They are born from far from parents who already have it. You sometimes maybe at your age, you don't even have so much, but you still have to sponsor your parents. You still have to sponsor your siblings. You still have to sponsor those, your loved ones. You still have to help them with the little income that you are earning. But someone else at your age, whatever they have is theirs. On top, because their parents, they come from a system of government where their parents, the government is sponsoring them at a certain age. But you at 60 years old, you come, we know so many countries, those who have never travel to so many countries, most especially in Africa. The government doesn't help elders. The government doesn't help people with disabilities. The government doesn't sponsor those, for example, who are single mothers or anything. So if you're a single mother, it's your business. If you're facing a disability, it's your business. If you're old, it's your business. So now it's kids who now look after these people. It's their children who now provide for them. So those children, they'll be disadvantaged in a certain way. But someone else who come out from a certain nation, you find that the government is looking after their adults. So their money is theirs. They only help their parents, maybe out of their own goodwill. But it doesn't mean that their parents are lacking completely. But some others, it means if they fold their hands, their parents would suffer. Their elders would suffer. So it means if they are earning a certain amount, they have to say this month, this much is for my mom, for my dad, for my disabled relative, for this one, for this one, for this one. Now, you who doesn't understand the situation, you'll be there mocking and speaking too much as if you are indispensable. That's the reality of life. Our circumstances are different. Don't judge a situation you have never faced in life. Because maybe what that person has overcome, you'll never come this far. You'll never come that far. So we come from different families. We fight different backgrounds. We fight different battles. Our backgrounds are not the same. We face different battles and our circumstances are not the same. Do not compare, because if you compare, you will be discouraged. But above all, know that the God that created you, He never makes mistakes. He created us all in certain families, in certain countries, because He knows that we have the capacity to handle those challenges. He knows that we have the capacity to handle that pain. He knows that we have the capacity to handle that conflict, because He is God. His ways are always perfect. Look, for example, I always say, if I never went through the situations I went through in life, maybe I wouldn't have been this guy that I am today. If I never faced pain in life, maybe I wouldn't have been able to understand the pain of others. Why? Just like the scripture says, Jesus Christ, the high priest in the order of Melchizedek, he faced pain hence he is able to feel the pain of those who go through pain. He faced temptation, hence he is able to sympathize with those who are facing temptations. Hence, God sometimes he let us go through certain things because he loves us so much. Like I always say about myself, I went through challenges in life. I went through the things I went through in life because God wanted to make me the man that I am today. And when I look at myself today, I sympathize, I cried for the pain of others. That's why you see when there's war in Europe, when there's war in the Middle East, when there's conflict in Congo, when there's problems elsewhere, I cry, I feel pain. Why? Because I know how it feels being in certain positions. Brothers and sisters, this is my message. Do not compare, do not be discouraged. Your circumstances are not similar to the other person's circumstances. Keep on moving at the pace that God is allowing you to move. Because if you compare, trust me, you end up joining crime. You end up becoming, you end up start selling drugs. You end up doing things that are not it in order for you to reach their level. But remember, God is with you. Do not give up. Do not be discouraged. God loves you, and so do I.